and right into the stretch. Looking back and throws up the middle. Throws is on his way around. Picked up by Otis.
Here comes the ready and not. Here comes the voice from the south. Here comes the ready and not. How you like me now? I say. Here comes the boom, ready and not. Here comes the voice from the south. Boom. Here comes the boom, ready and not. How you like me now?
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
I don't have it in me, I'll be honest.
You are watching live to the best damn coverage that this Southern has ever seen. How we doing? How we doing? We got Santori. We got special guest Dale. We got me, Big Savage. How we doing?
We got like most of it right in a different order.
Yeah. But you know what I do get right at times? Heading on down to Script Coffee, proud sponsor of the show. And the show. That is one thing I do know how to do right.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll knock these out real quick. We don't really do them too much anymore. Do you like noodles? Do you like chili and hats and clothes and noodles? Well, Three-Way City has you covered. Brought to you by our friend Adam. He goes by different last names sometimes. I've seen Rennell. I've seen Anderson. He does music now too. But Three-Way City, they've got merchandise strictly from the heritage of Cincinnati. They love it. They got hats. They got sweaters and hats.
Something, yeah, hats.
Greg,
hats.
Go ahead.
Are you looking for great food? Great everything? Well, head on down to Midwest Best Barbecue, proud sponsor of Rally Around the Natty and also Bengals and Brews. So head on down off of Ward's Corner in Loveland. By the way, big event next week for those of you who are going for Project Game Day. We're looking forward to seeing most of you there who have signed up. Looking forward to it big time. But yeah, head on down, get yourself some Midwest Best, chug it down your throat.
And last but not least, our longest running sponsor.
Oh, dang it.
Imagine, if you will, you're sitting outside, you're on your balcony, you just moved to your new apartment complex that you've been incredibly excited about for 5 months now. You get a nice, cool autumn breeze. The Bengals are currently 14-0. And how do you celebrate? With a bottle of Brimming Horn Meadery. It's Viking sweat. It's bottled. It's Nordic. It's something's in the water. Drink responsibly. Use our code HOODAY9 to get 15% off 2 bottles or more. Basically covers shipping. Except you, Montana. I think. Parts of you. Anyway, welcome to Rally Around the Natty. Show's already off the rails. Not super organized. Our engineer is not here. He's golfing with his son. And Bengal Dad, who is the glue of our show, is currently in Hawaii living his best life. So there's that. Left me in Ohio. They sent me a picture the other day. They said Hawaii's beautiful. And it was like this margarita and the beach in the background. And I said, well, here's Ohio. And I sent a picture of the trash can in my cubicle at work. It was not well received. Not well received.
Yeah, you know, that's...
With that being said, we are finally just about a week away from the draft. We avoid talking about the draft on this show because it is Bengal Dad's least favorite thing. But since he's basically out of the country and we've commandeered Dale, it is draft night on Rally Around the Natty. How do you want to do this, Dale? Do you want to do a mock draft? Do you want to talk about some prospects? What do you want to do?
We can do whatever you want, man. It's just your show. I'm just here to have fun.
This is your show.
You're the guest.
What do you guys want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
We can talk prospects. We can go through.
Let's go on mock draft simulator first.
Yeah, let's do that.
That'll get us talking about some prospects.
There we go.
What's your preferred one?
Oh, I don't care. There's so many.
Should we do good berries?
Well, I meant the actual software itself.
Oh.
I like Pro Football Network.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Let's do it.
All right.
By the way, Santori, how about them Reds this last couple of days?
Yeah, they fucking suck.
Yeah, we'll bounce back. We'll be fine.
That was Reds Talk, brought to you by Brimming Horn Meadery.
They suck.
Well,
They've
How's
sucked
this
for
looking?
3 days.
Uh-oh, I don't. This looks a little.
Tiny,
Yeah. Woo! How's that looking?
better.
Better. All right, hold on. We're gonna go. We have the technology here. Edit layout. We can do this.
We can do it.
I'm surprised Greg isn't the one. I thought he was the technology guy.
Are you kidding
no.
me?
Yeah,
I am tech boy.
Are you kidding me, Dale?
yeah, I was.
Thank you.
Woo, hold on.
If we have a guest, Greg will message me like right before and be like, "Someone send me a link." I'm like, "Greg, you can go get the link just the same."
I don't know how to do anything. Well, I remember Dale was trying to play around with something. You're like, Greg, what are you doing? Why do you have the picture on you and all that?
Yeah, Greg just put himself on a giant screen.
I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to edit something, and so I got to play around more.
Oh, almost there.
We're-
Almost there.
Geez, just sounds a little sexual. Just a little bit. I'm almost there. Right, Greg?
Oh, hell yeah, buddy. Put it. You got to stick it.
All right, we're coming off the rails here.
Stick it.
Boom. This looks better. It didn't do it right. Hold on.
No, take it
That
down.
that looks better. That's what I wanted.
Here we go.
All right,
We're
we're
all
not.
3 power bottoms.
Yes, sir. All right, so it looks like everybody wants is off the board, and that's how mock drafts work. I'm sorry. With that being said, you got Verse, Mims, Thomas, which is everybody's going to scream Thomas now.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Newton, who's falling down draft boards. Byron Murphy, who looks to be the safest pick. And Chop Robinson, who everybody at my place of business today was screaming they wanted Chop Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got a huge upside, but I mean, why would the Bengals, I don't love it. Like, I like the prospect. I think he's going to be good. I think he has great upside. He's going to be a really good pass rusher, but he's not going to be ready to probably make a huge impact year one. And we already have Murphy, and we're hoping Asai takes a step. I don't know. I wouldn't love another edge personally in the first round.
Say, Corey, go all the way back up top. Who was the first? The best player was an edge, wasn't he?
Yes, it was Mr. Verse.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
what about Mims? To me, it's down to Mims and Murphy.
I'll be 100% honest. And I told myself I wasn't going to do this year. I'd be tempted with Thomas there.
Oh, really?
I'd be tempted. I don't think I'd do it just because I do think there's something to be said about his breakout age. He is a little older, and that does tend to fall apart on receivers. I think Murphy's probably the safest pick, personally. I know a lot of people are really high on Newton, and I get why, but I think I would probably lean Murphy.
Before we go any further into this, are we looking for replacement for T or replacement for Boyd?
Yes.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, so
both.
two receivers. So
we potentially need a starting slot, but next year we could need a starting outside.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw Yoshi's jacked up right now on
Yoshi put on the.
but it's the same story. Is this going to be a yes here? Are we going to draft two? Or do you think we'll draft two receivers?
No.
No. Oh.
I think you'll definitely draft one. I don't think you'll double dip.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this scenario, I imagine it seems like Latham is gone. I don't know how high he went. I do know it showed he had like 4 visits, I think, with teams in the top 10.
He went to Seattle at 16 in this scenario.
So he made it to 16 here, but he could go even higher from what it sounds like. And I know a lot of Bengals fans are like, well, he didn't test and this and that. But it sounds like NFL-wise and all the reports out there from the national guys who do this and everything they've heard is Latham is very well liked by coaches. And maybe that's why he didn't test. Maybe he has several teams that are like, hey, if you're there at 10, if you're there or not, whatever it is, that he's going in the top 15 potentially.
Yeah. Jared Verse, tell me a little bit about him. I didn't do much reading into him because I assumed he was gone. Would you take him if he's? I know it's edge, not a big need, but would you consider him?
I think he's talented enough. I mean, it goes back to the same thing with Chop. I don't want another edge, but I mean,
Right.
he is. You talk about similar. I mean, he played at Florida State. I think he transferred from Buffalo or somewhere. It was a smaller school. I don't even think it was even smaller. But he's put up 2 good seasons at Florida State. A lot of people thought he could have came out last year and been a pretty high pick. He went back this year. I think he's going to be a damn good player and damn good player early, but I think he's already like 24 years old. I just don't see it for the Bengals, but I do love him. I could see him going as high as depending if the other kid, Turner, comes off the board at like 8. I could even see Verse going at 9 to like Chicago. I think he could go that high. But in this scenario, I'm thinking one of the D tackles. I mean, Thomas, you at least would have the conversation because, I mean, speed for days, great deep threat, and I think he could take over for T next season. And then Mims is the great unknown, right? Like if Latham's off the board, Pollock's probably going to be high on Mims. Just he loves size. We know that with the guys we have. He drafted Becton. We've talked about it a bazillion times. Only played 800 snaps, but. The tape looks good when he plays.
The tape and the technique aren't a problem.
Yeah.
It's just a very limited sample size, which is good because he has the rare circumstance of being able to sit behind somebody for a year. He doesn't have to start right away. So, 3 or 4 months ago when we're doing this and free agency hadn't hit yet, and they go, oh, he's only got 8 starts. It's like, whoa, pump the brakes. He's going to go 8 starts in college against TJ Watt. Like that seems problematic. Now it's, well, you can rotate him in. He gets a whole year in the system. He already has good technique, and it's okay. You had the luxury of time with him. Or do you want a defensive tackle that can play probably right away in a rotation, or at least provide depth?
Yeah, that's a big question. Dale, what do you think?
For what? We're still talking Mims?
We're down to position, tackle or tackle.
I don't think you can go wrong taking either one personally. Like I would be good with the D tackle. You're going to toss him right into the rotation. And I'm higher on Newton personally, but Murphy maybe is a better fit because maybe he gives you more upside as a run defender, where I think Newton is a better pass rusher. But I think they're both solid, in both areas. I wouldn't have a problem with either one of them at the pick. Are we doing what we want to do or what we think the Bengals would do?
Yes.
Which one do you want to do? Because I'd have 2 different answers. For the Bengals, I think they could go Mims here and finally try to solidify the line. Trent Brown is injured a lot. He's played, 2 full seasons his entire career. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't always play. As you mentioned off air, he's been a left tackle in New England the last couple of years. So he hasn't played right tackle for a while with the injuries. Do you go ahead and have the backup and the insurance and the upside with Mims having Brown in place, not having to start him day one? Kind of is a better trajectory for him, I think, in situation. But at the same point in time, I love the D tackles. And if it was me picking, I would probably take one of the D tackles.
Here's where I fall, and I think this is going to ultimately be my decision. I'm going to address my flow chart I made a couple years ago. Most important thing on the field is Joe Burrow. And I think you know where I'm going with that.
I know.
So I would rather load up his trenches. If you don't know what to do, just take a good offensive lineman off the board. I don't think you can ever.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't think you ever have to justify taking an offensive lineman. That's just so important. And I think there's a lot of defensive tackles in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round that I think would fit this rotation right away.
There's some guys I
can't
say that at right tackle. I can say that at D tackle.
Santori, when I did first of all, when I did my 4-7 mock tracks that everybody loved on Twitter, by the way, yeah,
Greg's getting fucking
He's
dragged.
so
I
mad
got
when
Greg.
that-
Every time though, when I went in the second round, when I went DT in the second and third round, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for tackle here. I think like in the top 5, top 10, there was not one tackle after that round. Kind of goes back to the year we took. A reason we took Chase over Sewell, it was because, well, didn't work out for us in the second round. After Chase, Waddle, and Smith, huge drop off after that. Seems like after some of these 5 or 6 offensive tackles in the first round, huge drop off. So if you're looking big picture here and Santori about your chart, you'd have to go offensive. Look, goes back to the year I wanted this tight end out of Georgia named Leonard Pope in the second round. I'll never forget this. And then I was waiting for his name to be called in the second round, and they said Adrian Whitworth. I said, oh, the hell with this. I hate this team. This is a stupid pick. This is stupid. And ever since then, that was God telling me, shut the hell up. So
We're gonna take Mims here.
yeah, let's take Mims.
I feel a
Let's
lot
go that
better.
route.
I feel a lot better about taking Mims
Me too.
especially because at the moment he's OT3.
Yep.
Which means that Jackson Carman's not, which is awesome. So moving on.
Whoa.
Houston wants to give us everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Ooh,
And this is kind of what I meant. Like you got a here available. Scooby Doo.
We're the Browns now.
You get Scooby Doo available. I don't think I would reach and take Leonard Taylor.
You wouldn't?
No, not here.
Where's the
Not the
Michigan guy?
second, man. I think he's closer to the 4th round than I would want to take him in the second.
Say what? A lot of guards available in the second round, though.
Yeah, Cooper Beebe is very interesting. I like him a lot at guard. Zach Frazier obviously can play center from West Virginia. I think he could play guard for a season if they were willing to allow him to do that, if they would let him compete with Folston. 4-year starter at West Virginia. Big, thick, powerful. I think he, and then if Ted's not re-signed, he slides over to center after one season. I'm a huge fan of Frazier, but would they go back-to-back O-line picks? Maybe not. Although, once again, right with our argument from the first round, you can never go wrong protecting 9, ultimately. So it wouldn't be an awful pick. But Rook being second on this list, who else is available at D tackle? Can you
look
check
at all the
positions?
DTs. What about
We'll look at DT. We'll look at maybe corner and wide receiver. So Jenkins is there. Fiskey's there. They've got those guys a little lower in some.
I would almost rather wait till the 3rd round if that's the way the board's
No, let's
falling.
trade back here. Or no.
Greg, I got 9 picks. I'm trading.
Oh, forget it.
I don't want to be here till 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good idea.
But I like Rook. I think he's going to help you. I like him or Chris Jenkins, honestly. They're the 2 second-round guys that I've kind of said, okay, if the Bengals are going to go offensive tackle in the first, for what the Bengals need. I like Fiskey. I like Michael Hall. I think they're both second-round talents. But for what the Bengals need and somebody who is going to do well against the run, even though they're not your nose tackles, you can still get defensive tackles that are good against the run, right, Santori? There's not that many nose tackles in the league, so you don't have to have
4.
Yeah.
In the entire NFL, there's 4.
So,
Right.
Steve Torrey, I don't know if you watch Bengals and Brews. I did a little research. I did some game film watching. Problem is, it's only the good stuff I watched. And every time I told Dale I like to play, I'm like, Greg, did you see the bad stuff? Not just the good stuff. Xavier Legette, but good acceleration, plays like a running back after the catch. I would love to have – he would be very intriguing. I'll bet you I was a big Laviska Shenault fan that year in the draft along with Mims, who I'm glad the Bengals didn't listen to me that year. But, man, Xavier Legette really impressed me, man.
The tape's fun, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And tape is king. But there's some things that bother me. Like, why does he only have 1 year of production? Why did it take him until he was 23 years old to have that year of production? It's he kind of falls into the Laquan Treadwell category of a big receiver who had 1 year of really good production, who probably should have tested better than he did in his older. And you've seen how that career's gone. Not saying that it's going to be a carbon copy.
Right. He's more explosive for sure.
Sure. Because, Laquan Treadwell can't, he's running the quicksand all the time. But, there's some things you look at and you're like, there's some red flags here.
So what do we do here? Do we go guard? I mean, if we know there's going to be a DT in the third round for us, I'm cool with going.
Well, you're going to need 2 DTs
Yep.
in this draft.
Oh, okay.
I say we go Rook, man. I like him. I think he's fun.
I
Miles
like
Murphy last year.
I personally like Jenkins more than Rook, but I like Rook.
Yeah, they're close for me. I've got Jenkins a little ahead of him. Too.
What's the difference between Rook and Jenkins? What's the biggest difference between those two?
A little bit of style.
Who's a better pass rusher?
Neither of them are great at that right now, but I think
Probably
Rook is closer, to being a better pass rusher. I think Jenkins needs a lot more work in that area.
Who has the highest ceiling, and who's the safer pick?
I think they both have pretty high ceilings.
The safer pick is probably Jenkins. I think he's just I hate saying this because Clemson's been a little up and down, but I think he's coming from a little bit better defensive program right now. 3 years ago, I couldn't have said that because Clemson was amazing on defense a while back.
Right.
I think Rook is the ability to make those splashier, more athletic plays. He jumps off on the tape more than Chris Jenkins does. Like
he didn't start playing football till his junior year of high school. So,
right.
He started a little late.
I say Jenkins is probably safer. If I had to point one guy or the other that I think has the opportunity to have a much more explosive style about them, it would be Rook.
Okay.
And I think with the fact that we're looking for like a third defensive tackle right now, and they're wanting to create some pass rush problems, I'd probably lean toward Rook.
Yeah, I mean, both colleges we have good connections to, Clemson and Michigan. So we have good connections with both those colleges.
And here's to say, I mean, if Jenkins is available in round 3, I have zero problem pulling the trigger there and doubling down. So we'll go Rook right now.
Roof.
And he's higher on this board, so that's kind of when you do these simulators. You almost kind of want to take the guy that's higher.
Greg, you want to trade with Cleveland?
Hell no.
Okay.
Sinet. Oh, my God.
Ricky Pearsall, Jonathan Brooks at
Ricky Pearsall, Santori, was that not the best? That was a better catch than Odell Beckham, I thought, that he made.
Again, talking about doubling down, I saw Mason Smith.
I know. I like Mason Smith, but it's a gamble.
Tell me about him.
It's a big ass freak, man.
Okay,
he's hurt, but he's a big freak.
Yeah, ACL injury in 22, so he missed all that season after celebrating after a touchdown in the first game of the season. And but he came back last year, didn't look as good as he did as a true freshman. As a true freshman, it was like, oh, this guy's going to be a superstar. You're thinking Eric Armstead. He's that type of like size to him and just athleticism.
And this sounds like a wives' tale kind of thing, and I think this is where Greg's probably going because we've talked about it before too. With linemen in particular, it can take almost 2 years to come back from those injuries and look right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, if you remember when Geno Atkins blew out his knee, that next year he was horrible, and it was like, oh, is he done? And then the year after that, it was like 10 sacks again. It's like, oh, he needed the time. Give him the right time and the the training. I don't know what that was from Greg, but
yeah, I don't know either.
No. I just looked up there to Davion Sanders. He was right there. Let me ask you guys this: would you take Sanders or Stinnett? Yeah.
Man, they're so close, Greg. Honestly, I have.
They're so very different tight ends. Though
Stinnett is like they compared to Kittle, but man, Sanders, man, I mean, good Lord, he would.
Sanders is one of those guys that normally the RAS score scares me, but I watch his tape and I'm like, I don't think I give a shit.
Would you take a tight end though? I mean, dude, Sinet, man, he is. Ugh.
I think the Bengals would like Sinet better because he is a better blocker. He's farther advanced with his technique and just everything.
But this may be a receiving round. Either with Pearsall, I like Walker from North Carolina. I know the Bengals are interested.
I'm not a fan.
Nah,
I like him, but that Senior Bowl week was definitely concerning.
Blake Corum, Santor, I remember you told me you were high on him.
Not this early.
Okay. No safety.
Oh.
Stop it.
Santori, I love safeties, man. I don't think you can have enough DBs personally.
Okay.
But well, you want him or Tyson Anderson? Take your pick.
Man, what is it with you and Tyson Anderson? What did he do to you?
It's just- I don't have anything personally against him.
No,
I
I'm
just don't think he's that great.
Renner Green.
Uh,
I think you didn't you say you were a fan of him?
Renardo Green, yeah,
Yeah.
I think he could slip into the third round. I've got him as a fourth, like high
Ooh.
fourth, but I think he could go in the third pretty easily from Florida State. He's played a lot of football there.
Guys, I take Senate right here, man. I'm sorry. I know tight end's not high on our board. We're set at tight end, but good Lord, man.
I mean, are we set though? You've got two guys on a 1-year contract and a fullback.
Right.
So here's the thing, and this is where I'm kind of leaning with Greg.
Well, thank you.
You go down to like picks 90 some because we're going to pick again here soon.
Yeah.
I'm good with Bullock down there. I'm good with Carter. I'm good possibly Sweat, Braylon Allen. There's
Sanders
a few.
still's a little lower on this board. He's
Yeah,
a lot
I
higher.
don't care.
I like him. There's. I mean, even if you want to go McKinley Jackson, I know I'm not high on him, but a lot of other people are. There's the opportunity to get that second defensive lineman that is going to add a lot of depth is going to be there on the next one.
Yeah, fourth, fifth round potentially. Christian Boyd's another guy if you're wanting the bigger body that can stuff the run. You know, and obviously Sweat, if he's not off their board, could be in consideration.
I mean, this guy's been compared to Kittle. I know that's not fair to do something like that, but I don't care.
So did you pick?
I did. I picked
Okay.
Sinat.
Okay, we got Dwayne Carter-Dale. I know he was a big favorite of yours, and I could see why. He was a team captain, which Bengals love to do, and he was solid as
three-year captain, which
Wow.
you know Zach Taylor's like, oh
yeah. Could he play nose tackle though?
I'm making the pick. That
Who
was
did who did you pick?
Carter. It was too
Okay,
easy
good.
for me.
Oh, thank you. You almost said give me a
You're
hard
terrible to do a mock draft with. I have no clue who was on the board.
Oh, dude, we got to take Sweat. Can we just take Sweat?
Oh, not for our fourth defensive lineman, Greg?
Yes! Load it up, man.
It's a lot of meat.
Well, Burton, guys, I do not want to. No.
Who's the wide receivers? That's what I was wanting to see in that last round. Pearsall, I think
They're gone now,
Pearsall
Dale.
If Pearsall was there in the third, I think he'd be in the
Oh,
conversation.
we're screwed here. Thrash, I don't even know who the hell he is.
They got Baker low, see, man. I think Baker's
Cowing's
third
not
round
bad.
pick.
I love Baker. I don't hate McCaffrey either.
I like McCaffrey. I did Santori. I put on war paint for McCaffrey. I would be a big fan of him.
And by war paint, he means shaving cream, and then he put ketchup around.
Breaking news: Dobbins signed with the Chargers.
Jim Harbaugh gets a Buckeye.
How about
No.
that? But Burton, we know he has the talent. If guys, I mean, like he would be a first round pick if it wasn't for the off the field stuff, right?
I don't think he'd be a first round pick. He's never had over 800 yards.
I think he'd be if he didn't have the. Well, here's the thing. You're going down a slippery slope on this one. If he didn't have his issues, he probably would be a better receiver. I mean, he went like he went to 18 different schools.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in high school, apparently transferred.
But no, Santori, what do you like about Javon Baker? Because in your draft guide, you have him as a Santori sleeper. Elaborate why you're a big fan of his.
There's just sometimes I watch tape and guys will remind me of someone. It's probably not even a fair comparison, but when I watch him, I see Landry. And I loved Landry. I thought he had great hands, and that's not necessarily the case with this guy. I know there's some drop issues there. But it's that same type of build. I think that can go a long way, especially for a team that is looking potentially for an outside and inside guy. I think you can do a lot with a guy like that.
Okay. Now, tell me about Thresh. I know nothing about it. I didn't really read about him or anything. I know nothing.
I'm not a huge fan.
He's your typical undersized Louisville nothing.
I was going to say Devontae
He's
Parker.
just a guy. He's a guy.
Devontae Parker. They really never had a good history. Cowling out of Arizona. I think I may have read about him.
That's one of Dale's guys.
I thought it was the kid out of Virginia.
They're both small. I do like Malik Washington a lot better. I got Cowling as a 5th round guy, and it's because the difference between the two is the Virginia guy, Malik Washington, is 191 and Cowling is 165.
Oh,
it's just
God.
he's so 5'8", 165 is so small that it's hard, and people will always say, well, look at Tank Dell or look at, smaller guys that have had success. And it's like, yeah, and Tank Dell got hurt. It's a concern. So the durability, the size, the catch radius, that's the biggest concern with Cowing. But he knows how to get open, and he's very productive at Arizona. I like Cowing, but no way in hell I'd take him in like the third. But Baker, on the other hand, you're talking about a guy that's like 6'1", 200 plus pounds. He's a great contested pass catcher. I really like Baker, and he's grown on me a lot. And I think he could play inside or outside. I think if you wanted to put him as a big slot, you could, and he would be there, kind of like Landry.
I want to go back to Sinnott. Can he play the slot? Oh my! Oh, is he?
Bengal Dad update.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Can Sinnott play in the slot?
I mean, maybe that's not going to be his forte. He's going to be more of an attached tight end.
Okay. I didn't know if that would, I don't know. Maybe with Sinnett, I may have regrets because, man, we're picking a receiver pretty low right here, aren't we?
I mean, we took Sinnott, but we addressed what I feel is the two biggest needs. What's at corner? Because I mean, if they want to go corner, get another guy in the room.
I think Andrew Phillips is sitting there. I'd love Andrew Phillips right here.
If you guys want to, I'm cool with that. I just feel a little guilty. I can't believe they would wait this long to take a receiver, but what do I know?
It just depends how they feel about Charlie Jones and Yoshi, honestly. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be a deciding factor. They had Jalen McMillan in here.
And the other thing is, depending where you're at with Malik Wright, Malik's been pounding the table about Jermaine Burton. I don't know if he knows something that the Bengals like him or whatnot. Definitely the talent's there. It fits everything that they want to do, but he's got some fucking problems, man.
But I mean, if we passed on Tart, didn't he just sign for minimum wage with the Dolphins? If we didn't want,
I don't think he signed for minimum wage, but I think he signed for league minimum.
No.
The man's playing on minimum wage. No one wanted him that much.
Look, it's $6.75 an hour.
But the point I'm making is we're so desperate for a nose tackle that we didn't even. I just can't see us taking someone. Yeah, I see Malik. He's on Burton. Like the talent's there, but why would we take a chance on Burton? 8 different schools. I didn't even know if that was possible to do.
I don't mind Phillips here, especially 4th round. I think it's good value. Baker, I would pound the table for if we were going receiver. That'd be my two.
I think you need to get a receiver at this point. I hate that we've pigeonholed ourselves because that's the good thing about doing these exercises is you see where it can happen. And apparently between picks 99 and 120, if you need a receiver, you're running into some problems.
Yeah, maybe we should have taken Pearsall at 80.
Yeah,
but they've also got Baker at 144. So I think I'd roll the dice on Phillips here.
I mean, yeah, I think in real life he's going closer to the 3rd than he is the 5th. But I'm cool with Phillips because he can play inside, outside, and a lot of people are.
Hey, Sweat went to the Steelers.
Oh, great!
Which they have Keanu Benton that they drafted in the 2nd round last year.
Man, I would have been fine taking a tight end here, gosh. Theo Johnson that low, Wiley that low. Oh my gosh! And although Jalen Wright. Wasn't sold him first, but Jalen Wright would be fun to have.
Dale.
Oh, that's the guy you showed me.
Yeah, man, he is all over different boards. He's down here for them, but I've seen him up where we have him. For other people.
So do you want a power back, or do you want one more guy that you could just possibly have a home run threat with?
Yeah, tell me about the running back.
What do you want?
The home run threat would be Jalen Wright, as he's talking about. He could take it to the house on any play. Has a little upright running style. He's not going to get you the tough yard. If you need a yard,
yeah, he looks like a slot receiver running, but he's got some freaking burners on him.
Yeah, and if he gets
think of like Mostert. It's kind of where he's at. Is a Raheem Mostert,
and he's more than willing blocker and has held up decent as a blocker, even though he's not the biggest guy.
His pass pro does not fit his physique. He's a significantly better blocker than he looks like he should be. especially 149, fifth round, to get a guy like that. I mean, you're basically taking Travion and Evans and kicking them to the curb, or at least one of them.
But imagine having your running backs with Chase Brown and Jalen Wright, that you got two guys in the fifth round that could be like a dynamic duo of the future. I know they have Zach Moss right now too.
It's almost like that's how I wished running backs would be drafted. But
well, can I tell you guys something? I kind of regret Sinat. I know he's good, but man, I would have been fine just taking someone like Wiley in this round or something. Would you?
No doubt. Yeah, for sure. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of regret this now. Why the hell did you guys listen to me in the second round?
You could have had a burner receiver, Greg.
But why did you guys listen to me? You know,
no, Ben Sinat. I think Ben Sinat's a good pick. I would not be mad if we took him in the third.
No, I wouldn't be mad. I'm just saying,
man, if he goes higher than we pick at 80, where we took him, don't be surprised at all. Good chance he could be the second tight end off the board.
Well, if nobody came to his birthday party, we're in trouble.
I think I'm going to go Jalen Wright here.
Yes. Santori, you and I talked about this one time. You know, when you got the power guy on, everybody's going to think it's a power run. You need the same of all three, pretty much.
I would think interior O-line could be something to look at now, and linebacker potentially when you start getting to the sixth round of the draft. You know, you're filling some depth there. I know they just brought back Joe Bocci for linebacker depth.
Jawan Briggs, that's my boy.
Oh, dude.
Greg wants all the D tackles. He wanted you to take 6 of them.
I know. I really wanted that guy, which I'll be saying a lot.
You snuck in Dwayne Carter, and we already got Chris Jenkins. But if you want somebody with a little more, you know, thickness to him, that's still an option, I think.
I'm not against Charles Turner here. I know it's a little low.
Well, LSU Kieran will like that.
Do you know who's interior line in general? Is that an option to go to?
Oh, Prince.
Not much.
Yeah. I like Kingsley Aguakun from Florida a little more than most people. He's not high here, but.
Since we go to special teams, well, some odd projections did that Iowa punter's been available. Why not draft another punter?
I'm not opposed to it because I think he's a lot better, Torrey Taylor. I'm surprised that he is behind the other kid there.
Right. I would take that kid.
I'm not opposed to it.
Call him TT.
Let's do it.
It's fine with me.
Punter.
Man, you guys listen to me. You guys are listening to me. I like how this is weird.
Guy Briggs is there. I like Miles Cole's size and upside as an edge if you do want to add another body there.
Briggs. That Bearcat, man.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather do Briggs.
Do it.
Build some depth on that line.
3D tackles. We know Mike Brown approved. He come to talk to that kid, so.
Fuck you, Raiders. Took my boy.
Hey, if you want to take one of you, your guy Charles Turner is still there.
I know he is.
I mean, if we look at Rankins as basically a Zach Carter replacement, you know, Zach Carter maybe makes the team, but I don't think that should be guaranteed. So you got and DJ Reader is gone.
It's not like I can't. It's not like I can't put one of those guys on the practice squad if things shake out weird.
Yep. So that's what I mean. I think Briggs and Carter and Jenkins could all make the team. Them along with Rankins and Hill could be your 5D tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you guys this. Are we satisfied with the receiver? This was a good draft. The only thing I kind of had misgivings about it was going to tight end just because of the good available tight ends in the later rounds. Obviously, Senat could be great, but I'm just saying, man, maybe we waited too long to take a receiver. But if you guys disagree with me, you guys have already told me to shut the hell up.
No, I think they would want to get one early potentially.
Ideally, I would take one. Ideally, I would take one in the third round.
Okay.
If I had my druthers, that's where I would take one.
Okay.
That's where I think the best value is going to be when you can get maybe a Baker or any of the maybe Jalen McMillan, any of those guys that happen to end up being there because it's such a good class in the second, third, fourth round area that I think if you get one, especially at like 97, I mean 80 is fine too, but 80 or 97 I think would be good.
What's so special about McMillan? I mean, like what is it the Bengals do you think like to bring him in for a visit?
He looks like Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, see, do we really? So he doesn't have the speed, or
he's a little bit faster than Boyd.
Yeah,
Boyd's got no speed.
Okay, because the other one,
He's faster and he's thinner. He's not as
Right.
muscular. He's
right,
long.
and another one, Wilson out of Michigan, he doesn't have the speed either.
Yeah, but he's like 40 years old.
How old is he?
No, I think he's only 22.
I think he's going to be 24.
Let me look it up. I'm the looker up.
22 I can live with. 23 now.
Okay, but like Roman Wilson, like what if we took him in the second round? Because I know the Bengals. I don't
think I'd love it in the second. That's him, Pearsall. When they're talked about in the second, I'm like, I like them guys in the third. Malachi Corley, I like him in the third.
I love Corley.
I don't want those guys in the second. I don't.
Santori, I don't know what your take on Corley is, but dude, Corley was my favorite out of all of them.
So we didn't end up taking a receiver. What's even on the board? Is there anything at receiver when you go there?
Here's the thing why I'm not super worried about it.
At this point.
I'll show the board, though.
Roman Wilson is
not good.
He turns 23 June 19th.
Anthony Gould is the one that has some return, and he's a slot guy. He's a smaller, undersized guy as well, but he's standing out to me with just who's left.
Sounds like Mario Alford, right?
Yeah, it could be.
But here's the other thing. NFL free agents currently: Hunter Renfrow, Allen Robinson, OBJ, Michael Gallup, Tyler Boyd, Michael Thomas, Valdez Scantling, Russell Gage, DJ Chark, Agnew, Hardman.
Bring in Renfrow or get Boyd if you missed out on improving your slot wide receiver.
Right. I mean, there's a couple options there. And people are going to get cut. People are going to get traded. I mean, it's not like it's this or you're done, So
yeah, I agree.
But
I mean, what's kind of at the top of the board that's even
dude, whatever you guys decide, I'm cool with. I mean, I trust your guys' judgment right here.
Linebacker depth, obviously, and then like interior line. Some people like Matt Lee. I don't think he has the play strength there. That was at center.
They scrolled way down too far.
Yeah, we're way down.
I don't mind him, honestly.
Hey, take him.
Play him at running back instead of safety.
Well, last time, where did we make Vigil? Did he come out of Utah or Utah State? Did we get Vigil?
Utah State.
Okay, we're cool then. We can take him.
Yeah, Vaki at safety is not a terrible pick. You say you're competing with Tyson Anderson for potentially the last safety spot, and that's if they're moving Dax around and kind of as a slot corner, etc.
Yep. And at pick 224, if I have to cut him, am I really worried?
Nope.
All right.
Eric Watts, edge. He's a big dude like Michael from UConn. Big, raw, doesn't know what he's doing as a pass rusher really, but he's got the size and athleticism that you can't, teach.
Yeah, so we didn't take a receiver, did we?
No, that's we're on the phone with Hunter Renfrow and Tyler Boyd, and we're getting us a slot receiver to
I'd be okay with Tyler Boyd coming back.
Well, I mean, we're trading for Justin Jefferson in like 3 days. So.
Right.
But you're losing Higgins in that scenario, so you still can bring in back Tyler Boyd.
If I got Uno and Jefferson out there, you can put me out there in the slot.
There you go.
If they did make a trade, wouldn't they have to do it, or would they do it for the draft for next year? Is what you're saying?
No.
Well,
I think if they're going to trade Higgins, it'll be during the draft, like with AJ Brown. It'll have to be some scenario where there's somebody they want, something, for both teams. I think Vikings too.
No, this draft is solid. The only thing is if we didn't take a tight end last year, but I wouldn't be too bugged by this. Like I said, if I can get Tyler Boyd, Hunter Renfrow, sign me up for this.
Yeah. Mims, if Brown don't make it through the season, you feel really good about him coming in at right tackle as long as he's healthy. He's already advanced technique, as Santori said. Huge body, they're going to love – Frank's going to love him. So I could see that. Rook, I think, contributes right away. I mean, hell, he probably starts some in your base package for rundowns, unless Rankin suddenly improves from last year. I know he said, I can stop the run, and he has some in his past, but I think he's just a better rotational pass rusher at this point.
Well, the more often that they go with an odd man front, either that 34 or the 52 that they run, it's going to be easier for those guys to stop the runs because they're going to get more one-on-one matchups. And I think that's ultimately what's going to end up happening. So I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah. And then the tight end, I know, Greg, you're like, oh, I don't know if I should have taken that. I think Ben Sinnott is going to come in right away, and he'll play. He'll get some snaps. And Tanner Hudson, you got to remember, is like 28 years old already.
We got Gesicki, and Gesicki can play the slot. I keep forgetting. Gesicki can
You can move him around, and you can have Sinnott, a sample. You can move guys around.
But I'm just curious, when Burrow went down, why all of a sudden were we including tight ends all of a sudden after that? That's what. Why didn't we do this more often? But I don't know.
And maybe they will, and maybe they plan to, and maybe they'll take a tight end.
The offense that they ran when Burrow went down was the offense they wanted to run the whole year, which involved 2 tight end sets, outside zones, under center, all the stuff that Burrow couldn't do on his bad leg.
Gotcha.
The offense that they ran with Burrow was a bastardized version of a West Coast offense mixed in with the shotgun for a quarterback who can't move. And it was a fucking disaster. The fact that they were able to stay in those games, some of them, Tennessee and Cleveland obviously not, was a miracle on its own.
Especially with how poor the defense was last year. If we can get the defense right, that's going to help everything as well.
Yeah, what's funny you bring that up. When we had Dalton, we ran the West Coast, didn't we?
A version of it, yes.
Yeah, so what is Burrow's offense called? Like,
fuck it.
Okay. Good enough for me.
The offense that we run
spread, basically, right?
It's a spread offense that doesn't necessarily follow spread rules.
Okay.
It's basically get open. It's a little bit backyardish. I'm not gonna
work
lie.
magic, Joe.
Yeah, it's a little bit backyardish, and the run game does not marry or complement or mirror a damn thing.
Yeah,
it's the lineups, the personnel, the formations. When they switch from their spread offense to when they want to try and run the ball, it's a night and day different look, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
We'll see. Hopefully they learn something from all that.
I want to point out one more thing. So corner is an interesting subject because there's still plenty of good corner free agents out there. It's not like there's what 6 or 7 good free agents out there still. Maybe we wait till after. Maybe we look at a corner like, hey, I like this guy, but there's still a free agent we could get, right?
Well, I think you could do both because we lost Cheeto, and you have to remember DJ Ivey was getting playing time late in the season. And he tore his ACL. He's probably not going to be back healthy for the majority of the season. That was very late in the year. So adding Phillips, you could still add a veteran. That's why I'm surprised they haven't added a veteran corner.
And how much do you trust DJ Turner right now?
None. Why had
I trust him more than none, but
yeah,
he's
not much
shaky.
You hope he takes a step in his second year from what we saw. There's definitely traits there, but he's just got to get better playing the ball in the air.
No, I hear you. Say if Mitchell from Toledo's there in the first, you'd have to consider that.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be considered. I think him and Terry and Arnold. I think definitely Mitchell will be considered because they have put an emphasis on speed.
Yes.
And Terry and Arnold ran a 4.5. Not that 40 times are everything, but they put an emphasis on speed. And Quinion is much faster. Maybe Nate Wiggins. They like speed. What if it's Nate Wiggins? Like
I'm not
Hobson
opposed.
Mox.
Well, isn't Nate Wiggins hurt though?
I don't know that he seriously got hurt. He pulled up lame, and I think it ended up being some kind of hip flexor. But that's not like a long-term thing typically, is it, Santori?
Okay.
Do you know?
Hip flexors?
Yeah,
they're delicate. It's one of those things that you need to shut down for a short period of time,
which he should have time to do.
Right. But you should be able to be fine coming back from it.
Okay.
You can't do shit on it. You can't re-aggravate it. It's just super sore. It's just one of those things of you rest till it's ready.
Yeah, so he's probably not been working out. I haven't seen about him doing any workouts, so assuming if that's what it was. I'd read something that it could have been that, but I don't know that 100% either.
Well, Darth made a good point here. With better safety help, that'll help out DJ Turner more, won't it?
Should.
Assuming they communicate correctly, yes.
Right.
People forget this, but when we talk about better safety play, it's not necessarily getting a ball hawk. 99% of the time with better safety play, it's just communication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why they brought Von Bell back, I'm sure, as to get some snaps and help with communication for everybody. And Geno Stone, from what I heard, is very high football IQ. That should help with that as well.
Yeah.
Geno didn't test well coming out of Iowa in college, and his RAS score was poor and things like that. He's another high football IQ and knows what he's doing and can communicate back there.
That's what's hard for us when it comes with scouting. And even the NFL, they missed. I mean, he was a 7th-round pick. If you redraft based on what he's done now, 2nd round, easy.
Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, at the latest, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things, especially on our end, where we don't get to meet and know these guys,
Right. We don't have their medical history either in front of us.
No.
That's always there'll always be guys that well, he's going in the 2nd in every mock draft, and there he is in the 5th and 6th. It's like it's probably a medical issue that a lot of teams took him off their board.
And the thing is, the draft is so finicky. The medical issue could be like, we heard he's got a bad toe, and you're like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like 3 days from now, he'll be fine. Or it's like, oh, he was sick this morning. It's like, okay. Like sometimes those draft slides are for ridiculous reasons too.
Well, fellas, I appreciate you having me on. I'm gonna head in, see what's going on in the house.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fall asleep. Maybe eat some spray cheese and crackers.
Spray cheese. I'm going to use that as war paint the next time, Santori. Thank you for reminding me.
I'll let you guys finish this one out. See you guys.
Right. See you. Well, Santori, a week away from the draft. It's getting closer and closer. Going to be exciting, right?
Yep, and I'm just sleepy. So
Okay, well, I understand. Well, you go get yourself some sleep, get yourself some food, spray cheese, whatever you got to do, buddy.
Spray cheese. It's on the list.
All right. Chief.
Well, thank you for everybody who joined tonight. I don't think I'm going to do the outro song. I just want to be able to hit end and go to bed. It's been a long couple days for me and the family. So thank you again for everybody who is, joining us, supporting us. Everybody who supported the draft guide, everybody that's going to Midwest Best. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Good night.